that by the timetable of defense for 2019 budget before Appropriations Committee, the deadline for all committees has expired. Consequently, all committees that failed to appear are hereby informed that the executive submission of such committees have been adopted for the 2019 appropriations. Kindly therefore be guided appropriately. Announcer Honorable Mustafa Baladawaki, Chairman. Quite a number of communications from the President. Faces presidential decision to decline assent to the Nigeria Film Commission Bill 2018, pursuant to Section 58(4) of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 is amended, hereby convey to the House of Representatives my decision on 5th March 2019 to decline presidential assent to the Nigeria Film Commission Bill 2018, recently passed by the National Assembly. Declining assent to the bill because Section 1, subsection 3, D and E of the bill conflicts with Section 2A, 2, and C of the Nigerian Film and Video Censors Board Act, which confers functions in relation to film exhibition on the National Film and Video Censors Board. 2. Section 7, subsection 1K of the bill, which states that 1% of the proceeds for television license from the National Broadcasting Commission shall be paid into a fund to be controlled by the National Film Commission, is in conflict with Section 16, subsection 1 of the National Broadcasting Commission Act, which stipulates the purpose for which expenditure generated by the NBC may be used. Section 7, subsection 2D of the bill, which proposes to divert 5% of VAT on all film-related activity to the National Film Development Fund, violates Section 40 of the Value-Added Tax Act and the sharing formula prescribed therein, because it diverts funds normally distributed to the states of the Federation to a single federal institution. Please accept the assurances of my highest consideration. Sincerely, President Muhammadu Buhari. Next is presidential decision to decline assent to the Digital Rights and Freedom Bill 2018. Pursuant to Section 58(4) of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 is amended, I hereby convey to the House of Representatives my decision on 5th March 2019 to decline presidential assent to the Digital Rights and Freedom Bill 2018, recently passed by the National Assembly. I'm declining assent to the bill because it seeks to cover too many technical subjects in one text, and in the process fails to address any of them exhaustively. These areas include surveillance and data protection, lawful interception of communications, data protection and retention, etc., which are currently the subject of various bills pending in the National Assembly. We therefore suggest that the scope of the bill should be limited to the protection of human rights within the digital environment to reduce the challenge of duplication and legislative conflicts in the future. Please accept, Right Honorable Speaker, the assurances of my highest consideration. Sincerely, President Muhammadu Buhari. Next is presidential decision to decline assent to the Chartered Institute of Pension Practitioners of Nigeria Bill 2018. Pursuant to Section 58, subsection 4 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 is amended, I hereby convey to the House of Representatives my decision on 5th March 2019 to decline presidential assent to the Chartered Institute of Pension Practitioners of Nigeria Bill 2018, recently passed by the National Assembly. I'm declining assent to the bill because the objectives of the Chartered Institute of Pension Practitioners of Nigeria created by the bill are similar to the objective of the Certified Pension Institute of Nigeria, which is already in existence and functional, and it will thus amount to duplication of the functions of a separately constituted institute. Concerns have also been raised in connection with the propriety of a private investigative panel conducting criminal investigations, as appear to be suggested by Section 8, subsection 1A of the bill. Please accept, Right Honorable Speaker, the assurances of my highest consideration. President Muhammadu Buhari. Next is presidential assent, presidential decision to decline assent to the Climate Change Bill 2018. Pursuant to Section 58, subsection 4 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999 as amended, I hereby convey to the House of Representatives my decision on 5th March 2019 to decline presidential assent to the Climate Change Bill 2018 recently passed by the National Assembly. I'm declining assent to the bill because the spelled out scope and guiding principles in the bill replicate the functions of the Federal Ministry of Environment, which is charged with mainstreaming climate responses and actions into government policy, but does not suggest the scrapping of the ministry. The setting up the council as contemplated by Section 2 of the bill would unwieldy and expensive. Sorry, I take that again. The setting up the council as contemplated by Section 2 of the bill will be unwieldy and expensive to maintain, as it will amount to a proliferation of government agencies, especially when there are existing agencies already performing the proposed functions. The bill, as presently submitted, lacks legal and draftsman elegance and consists of contradictory provisions and needs significant clarity and harmonization with administrative realities. Please accept, Right Honorable Speaker, assurances of my highest consideration. Sincerely, President Muhammadu Buhari. I must warn that we still have 7 more to take. Presidential decision to decline assent to the Immigration Amendment Bill 2018. Pursuant to Section 58(4) of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999 as amended, hereby convey to the House of Representatives my decision on 5th March 2019 to decline presidential assent to the Immigration Amendment Bill 2018 recently passed by the National Assembly. I'm declining assent to the bill due to concerns expressed about the retroactive effect of the provisions of Section 38, subsection 5 of the bill, and the impact of the section on the ease of doing business initiative of the federal government contained in Executive Order Number 1. There are also concerns that if passed into law, the bill would be disruptive to Nigerians in diaspora if other countries were to reciprocate the provisions of Section 38, subsection 5 in their immigration laws. Please accept, Right Honorable Speaker, assurances of my highest consideration. Sincerely, President Muhammadu Buhari. Next is presidential decision to decline assent to the National Biotechnology Development Agency Bill 2018. Pursuant to Section 58(4) of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999 as amended, hereby convey to the House of Representatives my decision on 19 March 2019 to decline presidential assent to the National Biotechnology Development Agency Bill 2018 recently passed by the National Assembly. I'm declining assent to the bill because it fails to include the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development within the governing board of the agency. And 2, there are a number of drafting issues and errors in the bill which could affect the interpretation or operation of the bill. For instance, the reference in Section 80, subsection 1A of the bill for the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission to set the emoluments and benefits of the board is incorrect, and the correct reference should be for national salaries, income and wages commission to perform this function. Please accept, Right Honorable Speaker, assurances of my highest consideration. Sincerely, President Muhammadu Buhari. Next is presidential decision to decline assent to the National Institute of Credit Administration Bill 2018. Pursuant to Section 58, subsection 4 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended, I hereby convey to the House of Representatives my decision on 19 March 2019 to decline presidential assent to the National Institute of Credit Administration Bill 2018 passed by the National Assembly. I'm declining assent to the bill because the requirement that every member of staff of banks and other financial institutions should hold a National Institute of Credit Administration NICA license before they are eligible to practice as credit managers is impractical and portends a recipe for crisis. More so when the Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria does not require the staff of every bank to be its member. Section 5 of the bill should be deleted in its entirety, as the powers sought to be conferred on the NICA would be in conflict with the powers of some regulatory bodies, such as the Central Bank of Nigeria, the Asset Management Corporation of Nigeria, and the National Insurance Commission. We suggest that the Institute NICA should only be a training or certification provider for credit management professionals in Nigeria with the responsibility to promote its objectives among persons who voluntarily elect to be its members, and the creation of a credit management institute such as the NICA may unintentionally set up an additional layer to credit management, as it creates multiplicity of regulations which cause more bottlenecks to ease of doing business. Please accept, Right Honorable Speaker, the assurances of my highest consideration. President Muhammadu Buhari. 4 more to take. Presidential decision to decline assent to the Ajaokuta Steel Company Completion Fund Bill 2018. Pursuant to Section 58(4) of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended, hereby convey to the House of Representatives my decision on 19 March 2019 to decline presidential assent to the Ajaokuta Steel Company Completion Fund Bill 2018 recently passed by the National Assembly. I'm declining assent to the bill because appropriating 1 billion from the excess crude account is not the best strategic option for Nigeria at this time of budgetary constraints. The nation cannot afford to commit such an amount in the midst of competing priorities with long-term social and economic impact that the funds can be alternatively deployed towards. Bill which seeks to make appropriation of revenue to fund public expenditure should be consolidated in the Annual Appropriation Act such that these proposals pass through the traditional scrutiny the budget proposals are subject to by the Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Budget and National Planning, and the National Assembly. Furthermore, as the excess crude account funds belongs to the Federation, it will be proper to consult with the National Economic Council and the states. Relevant stakeholders such as the Ministry of Mines and Steel Development, the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment were not fully consulted. The inputs of key stakeholders are necessary to create the optimal legal and regulatory framework, as well as institutional mechanism to adequately regulate the steel sector. Please accept, Right Honorable Speaker, the assurances of my highest consideration. President Muhammadu Buhari. Presidential decision to decline assent to the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria Bill 2018. Pursuant to Section 58, subsection 4 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended, hereby convey to the House of Representatives my decision on 19 March 2019 to decline presidential assent to the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria Bill 2018 recently passed by the National Assembly, declining assent to the bill for the following reasons: failure to spell out in detail in the bill required qualification and experience threshold of the directors and senior management staff with specific reference to development banking, risk management, and mortgage loan administration experience. Provision section 9 subsection 2 providing that liabilities of the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria shall be discountable with the Central Bank of Nigeria without specifically stating in the bill that this is subject to the usual criteria for normally assessing the rediscounting window of the Central Bank of Nigeria, and conflicts between Section 14 on general reserves, Section 15 on the funds of mortgage bank, and Section 21 on annual reports, generally accepted development finance institutions guidelines and international financial report standards. Please accept, Right Honorable Speaker, the assurances of my highest consideration. Sincerely, President Muhammadu Buhari. Just two more. Presidential decision to decline assent to the National Housing Bill 2018. Pursuant to Section 58(4) of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999 as amended, I hereby convey to the House of Representatives my decision on 19 March 2019 to decline presidential assent to the National Housing Fund Bill 2018 recently passed by the National Assembly, declining assent to the bill for the following reasons: the various levies and obligations imposed by Section 4, 5, and 6 of the bill, including 1. 2.5% of the ex-factory price before transportation costs of each manufacturer imported 50 kg bag of cement or equivalent in bulk, 2.5% monthly deduction from workers' salaries, the compulsory investment requirement imposed on commercial banks, merchant banks, insurance companies, and pension fund administrators a minimum of 10% of their profits before tax into the National Housing Fund will be disruptive and punitive to a number of industries and sectors of the Nigerian economy, including cement manufacturing, bill banking, insurance, pensions, and may also impact adversely the average Nigerian worker. And the provisions of Section 6, subsection 5 of the bill in relation to the Pensions Reform Act and real estate investment thereunder may undermine the administration of the pension industry by the National Pension Commission and adversely affect the safeguards that protect the pension industry against unreasonable investment risks. Please accept, Right Honorable Speaker, assurances of my highest consideration. Sincerely, President Muhammadu Buhari. This is the last in the series. Presidential decision to decline assent to the Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency Bill 2018. Pursuant to Section 58, subsection 4 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999 as amended, hereby convey to the House of Representatives my decision on the 27th March 2019 decline presidential assent to the Small and Medium Enterprises Agency Bill 2018 recently passed by the National Assembly, declining assent to the bill for the following reasons. Section 32 of the bill introduces a 2.5% levy on the profit before tax of the target companies, which will increase the tax burdens of the companies while offering no direct benefit to them. 2. A 1% levy on imports, which will also add to the cost of doing business in the country. A 5% levy on luxury goods, which duplicates effort by the Federal Ministry of Finance to raise excise on such goods in a more sustainable manner to the benefit of the federal government treasury. The agency will have similar objectives to the Bank of Industry, particularly with regards to the funding of small and medium enterprises. Accordingly, it is important to streamline its functions to avoid duplication or overlap of functions with other government institutions performing similar functions. And the bill has the likelihood of increasing public recurrent expenditure by the proposed creation of new public sector bodies. Please accept, Right Honorable Speaker, Honorable Members, assurances of my highest consideration. Sincerely, President Muhammadu Buhari. Any more announcements, Clark? We're done. Any member has a petition to present? Yes. So you bring a small paper. All right. Any member has a petition to present to the House, may please rise to do so. Any petition? Yes, sir. Honorable Mutiu.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleague, my name is Honorable Shadi Mutiu. I represent Oshodi-Soro Federal Constituency and from Lagos State. Mr. Speaker, I have a petition from one Johnson Oyewole and co-legal practitioner on behalf of 26 Army officers of Nigeria Army against Nigerian Armed Forces for unlawful retirement from service. So, Mr. Speaker, this is my petition.
Please proceed and lay the petition. Any more petitions? Okay, Honorable Gadaka.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Honorable Ismaila Ahmed Gadaka.
What is today's date?
Member representing Pika Fune Federal Constituency from Yobe State. Mr. Speaker, I hereby present a petition by my constituents on the special retrospective treatment by the expanded management committee set up by the Federal Polytechnic Movie, Adamawa State, to investigate a case of fraudulent acts of the Examination and Records Unit of the registry. The passionate appeal, this is a petition that they were unlawfully withdrawn from the school. Therefore, I hereby present the report.
Please proceed and lay the petition, Honorable Gadaka. Any more petitions? Any more petitions? Petitions referred to the Committee on Public Petitions. Matters of urgent public importance, I would first of all recognize Honorable Asabe Vilita Bashir to raise her point of order. Honorable Wole, okay, please approach the chair.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. My respected colleagues, I am Asabe Vilita Bashir. I represent the good people of Chibok, Damboa, and Goza Federal Constituency. I come from Borno State. Mr. Speaker, sir, respected colleagues, I come under Order 8, Rule 4, to enable me to present a matter of urgent public importance in my constituency on the repeated Boko Haram attack in Chibok local government area of Borno State. The call for intervention of National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA. Mr. Speaker, sir, I seek this Honorable House to consider this matter as important and urgent, and to suspend all the relevant rules to enable me present the motion. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, respected colleagues.
The motion is on repeated Boko Haram attack in Chibok, LG of Borno State, a call for the intervention of the National Emergency Management Agency. Seconder to the motion that is urgent, Honorable Shuaibu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. My name is Abdurrahman Shuaibu. I represent Mubi North, Mubi South, and my half-federal constituency. I'm from Adamawa State. I rise to second the motion ably moved by Honorable Asabe Bashir. I so second the first leg of the motion. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion that the matter is urgent, say aye. Those against it, say nay. Ayes have it. Motion that will suspend our relevant rules. Seconder, Honorable Arabu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My distinguished Simon Arabo is my name. I rise that we suspend our relevant rules and take the matter now. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. Honorable Asebe, please move your motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, respected colleagues. Once again, the matter is on the repeated Boko Haram attack in Chibok local government area of Borno State. A call for the intervention of National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA. Mr. Speaker, sir, the House notes that the despicable activities of Boko Haram insurgents in the northeast region of Nigeria, particularly Borno State, where several lives have been lost, properties destroyed, and citizens have been displaced from their homes. Mr. Speaker, sir, respected colleagues, this House also notes that even though the insurgents have been largely neutralized, they still launch attacks on vulnerable communities, primarily to terrorize the locals, rob them of their possessions, and destroy houses in their wake. This House is alarmed by reports that on Thursday, the 28th of March 2019, the insurgents attacked Gatamarwa village in Chibok local government area of Borno State without resistance between 5 p.m. and 9 p.m. They burned 101 houses, carted away livestock and food items worth millions of naira, killed one person and left many injured. This House is concerned that the inhabitants of Gatamarwa village have been displaced and have taken refuge in Chibok town as well as neighboring local government councils, particularly Damboa and Askira local government areas. This House is worried that just last week Monday, on Monday, 1st of April 2019, the insurgents attacked another village in the same local government, Kaumutahi, still in Chibok local government area, but were repelled by the swift intervention of the Nigerian army with the help of the local hunters. This House is also worried that despite the resistance made by the insurgents, they succeeded in snatching several livestock and food items while burning one house in the community. Luckily, this time around, no life was lost. Mr. Speaker, sir, afraid that the displaced locals in Chibok local government are stranded, suffering, and in dire need of assistance like shelter, clothing, food, medical supplies, and other relief materials. Therefore, this House resolves to 1. Call for National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, to urgently come to the aid of the displaced persons in Chibok by providing shelter, food, clothing, medical supplies, and other necessary relief materials to ameliorate their suffering. 2, Mr. Speaker, to commend the Nigerian Army for their service and sacrifice, to call on them to do more especially as they continue to protect vulnerable communities from attack. I so move, Mr. Speaker, respected colleagues. Thank you very much.
Seconder to the motion. Any seconder to the motion? Honorable Frederick.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, Honorable colleagues. Agbedi Yetemna Frederick is my name. I represent Sagbama Kirima Federal Constituency. Izonkeme, I'm from Bayelsa State. I rise to second the motion as ably moved. I so second.
Honorable Villager, please lead the debate.
This motion is self-explanatory, and we are severally on the floor of this Honorable House deliberated on issues that have to do with Boko Haram attacks in Borno State in particular and Northeast sub-region in general. Mr. Speaker, sir, as you know, I'm representing Chibok Wala Dambwa, a constituency that is surrounded by Sambisa Forest. And despite the concerted efforts of the Nigerian Army in degrading the activities of the Boko Haram, the few of them that remain, Mr. Speaker, they launch attacks on some of these villages that are right inside the bush. And as you can see and hear, read on the page of newspapers, they resort to suicide bombing. My people are stranded in the neighboring local governments, as I said, without shelter, without food, and some of them have been injured, some are lying in the hospital. So I urge this Honorable House to call on the NEMA to quickly attend to the people that are in their need of shelter, clothing, medical attention, and other relief materials. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, respected colleagues.
Any more contributor to the debate? Otherwise, I'll put the question. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. Next motion, matter of urgent public importance from Honorable Soba.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. I'm Honorable Muhammad Musa Soba. I represent Soba Federal Constituency. I'm from Kaduna State. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I come under Order 8, Rule 4, matter of urgent public importance. It is on the need for urgent investigation into allegations of gross statutory breaches, including violation of the Public Procurement Act 2007 by the management of the Nigerian Bulk Electricity Trading PLC, MBET. I therefore urge this honorable house to consider this matter as urgent and suspend all the relevant rules so that we may take the matter as such. Thank you very much.
Seconder to the motion that is urgent, Honorable Rima Shuaulu.
Right Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, my name is Rimande Shaulu Kwewu, representing Takumdonga, Usa, and Yangtu Federal Constituency in Taraba State. I rise to second the motion assembly moved by Honorable Soba. I do second, sir.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. Seconder to the second limb of the motion, that the rules be suspended so he can take the motion now. Honorable John Poe, Honorable Bashir, and Honorable Gure.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
I hope you know that those are not your seats, except you have changed them.
I come from Plateau State, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleague. I rise to second the second leg of the motion. Now we should suspend our rules so that we can take the motion heavily moved by Honorable Soba. Honorable Speaker, that colleague, I rise to second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. Honorable Soba, you can now move the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, once again, I am Honorable Muhammad Musa Soba, representing Soba Federal Constituency from Kaduna State. This is a motion on the need for urgent investigation to allegations of gross statutory breaches, including found in violation of the Public Procurement Act 2007 by the management of the Nigerian Bulk Electricity Trading PLC (MBET). The House notes that the Nigerian Bulk Electricity Trading PLC was incorporated on 29 July 2010 as a wholly owned federal government company responsible for managing and administering the electricity pool of the Nigerian electricity supply industry. Further notes that as a wholly owned federal government company, MBET is required under Section 15(1)(a) and (b) of the Public Procurement Act 2007 to comply fully with the Act in all its procurement activities. Further notes that contrary to the provisions of the Public Procurement Act and extant guidelines and regulations from the Bureau of Public Procurement, the management of MBET executed power purchase agreements and initiated the performance and implementation of its terms in total disregard for the due process, which has resulted in losses to the federal government worth over 90 billion naira. Recalls that contrary to the provisions of the Act, MBET engages consultants in breach of the Act and extant guidelines, rules, circulars, and other subsidiary legislation. One of many examples is the engagement of Messrs. Alex, a law firm, and Azigi and Azigi, also a law firm, despite the fact that they lack basic bidding requirements and documents. The least responsive bidder was not awarded the contract, and the required authorization from the Attorney General of the Federation was not obtained prior to the engagement of these law firms. Further notes that most contractors and vendors engaged by MBET are not registered with the Bureau of Public Procurement. Neither are they registered on the National Database of Federal Contractors, Consultants and Service Providers, which is a gross violation of the provisions of the Act. The House observes that the management of MBET has been accused of awarding contracts arbitrarily and not to the lowest evaluated responsible bidder, as required by Section 16(17) of the Public Procurement Act 2007, resulting in losses worth billions of naira. Concerned that if urgent steps are not taken to investigate these allegations and address any proven infractions, an institutional system of manipulation of the procurement process will have been created, and an awkward situation will have been created which will lead to further financial losses to the federal government of Nigeria. The House therefore resolved to mandate the House Committees on Public Procurement and Power to jointly investigate the above allegations and report back to the House in 2 weeks. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Seconder, Honorable Prestige.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I am Honorable Prestigious member representing the industrial and commercial related people of Mahama North, Abasa Federal Constituency, Mr. Speaker, and from Abia State. I rise to second this motion, heavily moved by my colleague and my very good friend, Honorable Zoba. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Even though it's investigative, Honorable Soba, you have 2 minutes in case you want to shed light on the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, this is an investigative motion calling for investigation of alleged breaches of procedure by the electricity bulk company, that is MBET. And I want this Honorable House to support this investigation, because perhaps in the course of this investigation, we may establish a link between the total darkness this country has been plunged into and the alleged breaches. We may also as well discover why MBET purchases electricity from Gemcos and distributes darkness through the discos, that distribution companies of Nigeria. I want this House to support this motion in the interest of Nigeria and Nigerians. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
So this is a straightforward motion calling for investigation. Leave it until the investigation is conducted. So I'll put the question. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. Honorable members, the first business of the day is presentation of two bills. I now invite the clerk to read their short titles.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, Further Plenary Daura, Katsina State establishing S3 Bill 2019, first reading. Further Plenary Katungo, Gombe State establishment S3 Bill 2019, first reading.
Second business of the day, honorable colleagues, presentation report of the ad hoc committee to investigate the low concessionary tariff given to companies by the Federal Ministry of Industries, Trade and Investment for sugar importation into the country from 2013 to 2016 as contained in the backward integration policy, standing in the name of Honorable Olasupo Abiodun Adiola. Honorable members will recall that the matter was referred to the committee on Thursday, 23rd November 2017. The report is ready for presentation and Honorable Adiola is invited to present the report.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. My highly esteemed colleagues, my name is Olasupo Abiodun. I'm from Oyo State. I rise to request that the House do receive the report of the ad hoc committee to investigate the low concessionary tariff given to companies by the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment for sugar importation into the country from the year 2013 to 2016 as contained in the backward integration policy. I therefore seek the leave of the House to relate the report, sir.
Seconder. Honorable Marin, Honorable Gaza, go back to your seat.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Engineer Solomon Maren is my name. I represent all the people of Mangu Bokos Federal Constituency. I am from the home of Peace and Tourism State. I rise to second that the report be laid as moved by my colleague. I so second, Mr. Speaker.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. Honorable Abiodun, please proceed and lay the report. The third business of the day is presentation report of the Committee on Gas Resources on needs to stop the sale of the Nigerian liquefied natural gas limited standing in the name of Honorable Frederick Abedi. Honorable members will recall the matter was referred to the committee on Wednesday, 9th May 2018. Board is ready for presentation and Honorable Frederick Abedi is now invited to present the report.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues. Agbedi Yejemina Frederick is my name. I represent Sagbama Kirimo Federal Constituency. Ezonkeme, I'm from Bayelsa State. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I rise to present the report that the House do receive the report of the Committee on Gas Resources on need to stop the sale of the Nigerian liquefied natural gas limited NLNG. HR 170/05/2018. This was referred to the committee on 9/5/2018. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I move that I be granted leave to lay this report before the House. I so move, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues.
Honorable Dende, second, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm Emmanuel Memga Udende. I represent Katsina Ogun, Logo Federal Constituency. I'm from the Plenary State. I stand to second the motion as moved by my colleague. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. Honorable Abedi, please proceed and lay the report. First order of the day, honorable colleagues, is consolidation of two bills. Honorable members may wish to note that bills are on the same subject matter. I now invite the Chairman Committee on Rules and Business to move that bills be now consolidated.
Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, Mr. Speaker, my name is Edward Pojok. I represent the South East constituency. Mr. Speaker, may I move that we consolidate a plea for an act to amend the Federal University Oye Ikiti Act 2011 and for related matters, and a bill for an act to amend the Federal University Oye Ikiti Act 2011 HB 1389. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
The motion has been moved. Any seconder? Seconder to the motion. I can't see the person raising hands there. Yes. Can't see you.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
That's not your seat now. That was why I was confused. No, but you can second from there.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. My name is Honorable Idola Dimeji. I represent Ado, the airport of the flag constituency and from the state. I rise to second the motion that these two bills be consolidated. I so second. Thank you, sir.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. Committee on Rules and Business, please schedule a date for the commencement of debate on the general principles of the bill. Second of the order of the day, honorable colleagues, the third reading of a bill for an act to provide for the protection of persons who render reasonable assistance during emergency situations occurring at places within federal jurisdiction, and to serve as a model to be adopted by states of the Federation and for related matters. Honorable members who recall the House adopted the report of the committees of the whole on the bill on Wednesday, 12 December 2018. Therefore, call on the leader of the House to move that the bill be now read the third time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. I rise to move that a bill for an act to provide for the protection of persons who render reasonable assistance during emergency situations occurring at places within federal jurisdiction, and to serve as a model to be adopted by the states of the Federation, and for related matters, HB 171 be read a third time. I so move.
Deputy Leader.
Honorable Speaker, respected colleagues, I rise to support the motion as moved by the Leader of the House. As a support.
Honorable colleagues, the question is that the bill will be now read the third time. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. Clerk is invited to read the long title of the bill.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to amend the federal to provide for the protection of persons who render reasonable assistance during emergency situations occurring at places within federal jurisdiction, and to serve as a model to be adopted by the states and the Federation, or trade of the Federation, and for related matters. Third reading.
Bill read the third time and passed. Third order of the day is the third reading of the bill for an act to amend the Federal Polytechnics Act, Chapter F, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, to review the retirement age of staff of federal polytechnics, harmonize the tenure of office of the rectors and other principal officers of the federal polytechnics in Nigeria, and for related matters. Honorable members will recall that the House adopted the report of the Committee of the Whole on the bill on Tuesday, 19 March 2019. I therefore call on the Leader of the House to move that the bill be now read the third time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, once again. I rise to move for a bill for an act to amend the Federal Polytechnics Act, Cap F17, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, to review the retirement age of staff of federal polytechnics, harmonize the tenure of office of the rectors and other principal officers of federal polytechnics in Nigeria, and for related matters, HB 1488, be read a third time.
Deputy Leader.
Honorable Speaker, respected colleagues, I rise to second the motion as moved by the Leader of the House. I second.
Honorable colleagues, the question is the bill be now read the third time. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. Clerk is invited to read the long title of the bill.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, the bill for now to amend the Federal Polytechnic Act, Cap F17, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, to review the retirement age of staff of federal polytechnics, harmonize the tenure office of the rectors and other principal officers of the Federal Polytechnic in Nigeria, and related matters. Third reading.
The bill read the third time and passed. The fourth order of the day is the third reading of the bill for an act to establish the Institute of Chartered Biochemists and Molecular Biologists Church with responsibilities to, among other things, determine the standard of knowledge and skills to be attained by persons seeking to become registered biochemists and molecular biologists, register such persons, regulate and control their practice, and review those standards from time to time as circumstances may permit, and for related matters. Honorable members will recall that the House adopted the report of the Committee of the Whole on the bill on Tuesday, 19 March 2019. Therefore, call on the Leader of the House to move that the bill be now read third time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to move for a bill for an act to establish the Institute of Chartered Biochemists and Molecular Biologists, charged with the responsibilities to, among other things, determine the standard of knowledge and skills to be attained by persons seeking to become registered biochemists and molecular biologists, register such persons, regulate and control their practice, and review those standards from time to time as circumstances may permit. And for related matters, 2018, HB 1142, we read a third time.
Deputy Leader.
Honorable Speaker, sir, respected colleagues, I rise to support the motion as moved by the Leader of the House. I second.
Honorable colleagues, the question is that the bill be now read the third time. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. Clerk is invited to read the long title of the bill.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, the bill for now to establish the Institute of Chartered Biochemists and Molecular Biologists, charged with responsibility to, among other things, determine the standard of knowledge and skill to be attained by persons seeking to become registered biochemists and molecular biologists. Register such persons, regulate and control their practice, and review those standards from time to time as circumstances may permit, and for related matters. 2018, third reading.
Bill read the third time and passed. Fifth order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of bill for an act to provide for the suppression of piracy and other maritime offenses, give effect to the provisions of the United Nations Convention on Law of the Sea, UNILOS, 1992, Convention for the Suppression of Unlawful Acts Against the Safety of Maritime Navigation, SUA, 1988, and its protocols, and for related matters standing in the name of the House Leader. Honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Thursday, 29th November 2018, I now invite the leader to move that the bill be now read second time.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to move for a bill for an act to provide for the suppression of piracy and other maritime offences, give effect to the provisions of the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, the Convention for the Suppression of Unlawful Acts Against the Safety of Maritime Navigation, 1988, and its protocols, and for related matters, HB 1571, be read a second time.
Not. Deputy Leader.
Right Honourable Speaker, sir, respected colleagues, I rise to second the motion that the bill be read for the second time as so second.
Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, with your kind permission, I'll just go through some of the notes I've taken on this very important bill. Mr. Speaker, the maritime industry is a very special and technical industry which requires huge investment and attention from government. And for ease of reference, maritime includes transportation of persons and goods on water. About 71% of the Earth's surface is covered by water, and the oceans holds about 96% of all Earth's water. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, going by the above, nations of the Earth had from time immemorial explored the benefits nature has placed on water. Considering the fact that the world is a global village and that no country is an island, nations of the Earth have come up with various international treaties to set up rules and international laws regulating international maritime business. Water, therefore, and its transportation thereon is an inevitable aspect of every country's business. Nigeria is not exempted. As reported by the Vanguard newspaper on the 5th of December 2018, the maritime environment generates more than 75% of Nigeria's revenue through handling of over 90% import and export business by Nigerians. However, while there are immense benefits in the maritime industry, the activities of criminals such as piracy and other offenses have made it impossible to realize the full benefits. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, Section 3 of the bill defines acts of piracy as 1. Illegal act of violence, act of detention, or any act of depredation committed for private ends by the crew or any passenger of a private ship or private aircraft. 2. In international waters against another ship or aircraft. 3. Illegal against ship, aircraft, persons or property in a place outside the jurisdiction of any state. An act of voluntary participation in the operation of a ship, of an aircraft, with knowledge of facts making it a pirate ship. This is as contained in Section 3, defining what an act of piracy is. Under Section 4, a maritime offense includes armed robbery at sea and any other act other than piracy under this act committed by any person or group of persons, where that person or group of persons or their sponsors unlawfully within the Nigerian maritime zone or Nigerian jurisdiction. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, the objective of this bill, as contained in Section 1, is to prevent and suppress piracy, armed robbery, and any other unlawful act against a ship, aircraft, and any other maritime craft, howsoever propelled, including fixed and floating platforms. The bill is also aimed at giving effect to the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, 1982, and the Convention for the Suppression of Unlawful Acts Against the Safety of Maritime Navigation, 1988, as provided under Section 12 of the Nigerian Constitution, which requires that a treaty be domesticated by the Nigerian legislature before it can be admitted in Nigerian courts. It is therefore my opinion, honorable colleagues, that we pass this bill to, as the title of the bill suggests, suppress piracy and other maritime offenses for the safety of maritime operators and the advancement of our economy. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Deputy Leader.
Honorable
Balani Salami, please. Soba, tell Salami to approach the chair.
Right Honourable Speaker, respected colleagues, this is a very important bill that is seeking to cure unlawful activities on our sea and other maritime activity. And it will benefit the country immensely if this is passed. And in the bill, there are provisions made in terms of jurisdiction given the areas of jurisdiction, because in the past, cases have suffered in courts for lack of jurisdiction. In this particular bill, it has given the Federal High Court jurisdiction to try offenders in this very particular category of offenses. And so it will do us well. I'm proud if we do that to get in line with the international treaty signed by the country. True, Mr. Speaker, respected colleagues, there are also provisions there that are very punitive, that will serve as deterrent for those who are likely to go against the law in such activity. And the offenses ranges from death penalty for certain offenses to conviction, and then fines of about 500,000 naira to offenders in this very particular who may be fined wanting. Mr. Speaker, respected colleagues, it's very important for us to pass this bill because, one, it will enhance our economic activity, it will increase the security on the waterways, and it will also give employment further to our people who may be willing to have. Again, Mr. Speaker, it has also in the bill, there are provisions for confiscation of ships and other vehicles used in piracy activity on the highways, particularly where the claim is to a particular region of the country. This would serve as a deterrent if anybody does know that by the time you participate in that one, is likely to use his own process of the crime, and then again the medium used in committing such crime. Mr. Speaker, respected colleagues, in the light of my submission, I also wish to support and ask that I plead with the House to pass this very important. I so submit, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Honorable, okay, we finish, exhaust this row, then we can move to Abonta. Monguno MT.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, my name is Mohamed Tahir Monguno. I represent Marje Monguno Ngaze, Federal Constituency of Borno State. Mr. Speaker, what this bill essentially seeks to do is to domesticate the various conventions that are passed by the UN, like the United Nations Convention on Suppression of Unlawful Acts Against the Safety of Maritime Navigation, and other protocols passed by United Nations for the purpose of bringing security and safety to operators in the maritime domain. So what this bill essentially seeks to do is to domesticate what is obtained as international best practice in the maritime domain with a view to making it applicable to Nigeria. So I urge my colleagues to support the second reading of this bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Ukoma Kim Abonta. I'm from Abia State. Mr. Speaker, I'm confused that this bill, it appears that this bill is sent from the Senate, perhaps asking for our concurrence thereof. Mr. Speaker, I can't remember exactly when the first also was done, but having seen the bill, I think that we are duplicating issues. As lofty as the bill is, may I ask, what is the functions of NEMASA? Are we repealing NEMASA by this? Mr. Speaker, it would be ideal and proper to give effect to provisions of United Nations Convention, and that's done by treaty. We can sign adopt such a treaty giving effect to that convention? Are we required to use a bill where there's existing laws to ratify or give effect to a convention? No doubt, piracy and other marine offenses is such that bedevils our maritime sector. However, Mr. Speaker, we should use and practice the proper approach to get it done. Leaders you are aware of the existence of NIMASA law. You are aware that NIMASA is charged with the prevention of privacy and other maritime offenses. Are we repealing NIMASA? I should think, in order not to bring ourselves to somewhat look like a confusion or duplication of laws in our statutes, we should step down this bill, align it with NIMASA, or repeal NIMASA and put it in. It will be out of place, Mr. Leaders, for us to allow NIMASA law to exist, which does the same function in prevention of piracy and other related maritime offense, and we also bring another bill. Of course, the president will not even sign. He has just returned 10 now. So why are we laboring to we'll provide him an excuse not to even sign? Because it's duplicity, sir. Therefore, honorable colleagues, if you look at this item being considered, it's existing law under the NIMASA law. I want you to hear me. It's existing under the NIMASA law. However, the United Nations Convention condemning piracy is laudable. And how do we confirm or bring it to order is to ratify such a convention. So I should think that we should separate these issues, keeping away in a different bill ratification of United Nations Convention on Laws of the Seas, and go ahead and ratify it. And then allow NIMASA or amend NIMASA to have more powers to fight piracy and other related offenses. This bill having emanated from the Senate, I should think that we should not take as it brought to us, we should have liberty to modify, adopt. Very laudable, because piracy has cost us a lot of evil in Nigeria, in our future, in our maritime industry. We should be attacked, but however, not at the expense of double legislation. I therefore move and strongly ask that we step down this bill for us to align it properly, in the option that the bill should not fly. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Any more contribution? I'll put, okay, right of reply.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, I am only responding to some very germane and important points that have just been raised. Mr. Speaker, there is a clear difference between the NIMASA law and the law that is in front of us today. First of all, the areas of jurisdiction, which is fundamental to any law, is not even covered by NIMASA. And that has been an issue over the years about the jurisdiction of the courts. Number two, Mr. Speaker, what we're doing is basically domesticating international treaties by way of law. Nigeria signed the protocol as required. We are meant to domesticate. And there are various ways of domesticating. You can domesticate a law just simply by name. You can also domesticate it by way of legislation, which is what this is about. We are a part of a body of international laws. Maritime law is very key, like I stressed during the debate. It's key to our safety, it's key to our economy, it's key to us being part of the maritime body of nations. And there are many cases that are pending right now. So I believe if there are issues, and there may well be, I'm not disregarding any of the things that our Honorable Abanta has said. But if there are issues, if indeed there are genuine issues, then I think we can deal with these issues at the level of the committee to dot the I's across the T's. That is what the second reading of any bill is about. It's about general principles. And that is what we have done here. And I believe those issues that he has raised, if there are things to be expunged, if there are things to be added that are relevant to this bill, we can do that at the committee level. So whilst resting my case, I want to thank Honorable Abonta for the observations. And I don't think he has a right of reply. I can see him putting up his hand. Thank you.
No, there's no right of reply. I'll put the question. Yes, question is that the bill be now read a second time. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. The ayes have it. Abonta, you have no right of reply. Why do you want us to go against our rules? Class is invited to read the long title of the bill.
Honourable Speaker, honourable members, the bill for an act to buy for the suppression of piracy and other maritime offences give effect to the provisions of the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea in the laws 1992, the Convention for the Suppression of Unlawful Acts Against the Safety of Maritime Navigation SUA 1988 and its protocol and for related matters. Second reading.
Bill referred to Committee of the Whole. Sixth order of the day is a motion to receive and adopt the report of the conference committee. Chairman, Rules and Business, please can you move that? We'll step it down. This is not the right procedure.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, may I move that we step down conclusion of item number 6 from the order paper. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Item step down by leave of the House. Seventh order of the day is a motion on discharge of committees from referrals and bills pursuant to Order 17, Rule 3, subsection 1G of the Standing Orders of the House of Representatives, standing in the name of Honorable Edward G. Pajok. Honorable Pajok is now invited to move the motion.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, may I move for the discharge of the following matters referred to various committees. The House notes the following bills were read in second time separately between 2016 and 2018 and referred to respective committees for further legislative action. The bills are Chartered Institute of Transport Administration Bill HB 623 of 2016 and is dated 25th May 2017. Committee Land Transport. Second one is Project Development Agency Enugu Bill HB 1542-2018. The date is 5th December 2018. Committee Science and Technology. Thirdly, Nigerian Independent Warehouse Regulatory Agency Establishment Bill 2015. Date 22nd June 2016. Committee Capital Market and Institutions. And fourthly, National Tobacco Control Act Amendment Bill HB 1176 and 1503 2018. Date 24th October 2018. Committee Health Care Services. The House is aware that the committees are yet to present reports on the bills contrary to the provisions of Order 17-31G of the Standing Orders of the House of Representatives, to wit, any matter referred to any committee shall be treated within 30 days, otherwise the committee shall stand discharged after 60 days, and the matter committed to the Committee of the Whole for conclusion. The House resolves to discharge the committees of the above mentioned bills and commit same to the Committee of the Whole for consideration. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder? Seconder to the motion. Honorable Frederick, can you second, please?
Thank you, right, Honorable Speaker. Honorable colleagues, Agbedi Yejemina Frederick is my name. I represent Sabama Krimo Federal Constituency. In Zonkeme, I am from Bayelsa State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion as ably moved. I so second. Thank you.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. Eighth order of the day is a motion on need to reward the construction of Bida Sachi Nupeko Road, standing in the name of Honorable Aliu B. Aman Pategi. Honorable Pategi is now invited to move the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable Aliu Aman Pategi. I represent the people of it, Moro Pategi Federal Constituency. I'm from Kwara State. The House reports that the contract for the construction of Bida Sachi Nupeko Road was awarded to Messrs. AECC Global Limited in 2013 by the then Federal Ministry of Works at a total cost of 9.3 billion naira with a completion period of 30 months running from 4th January 2014 to 3rd July 2016. Also recalls that the sum of 400 million naira had been paid to the contractor as mobilization fee in order to enable it to complete the project on schedule. Aware that since 2013, the federal government, through annual appropriations, had been making sequence of budgetary provisions for the project as follows. In 2013, 400 million was allotted to this project in the budget, 2014, 300 million, 2016, 599 million, 2017, 400 million, and last year, 2018, a sum of 845 million naira was allotted. Concerned that despite the steady budgetary provisions since 2013, the percentage of work done on the Bida Sachi Nupeko Road project remains at an abysmally low percentage of 3.5% completion. Also concerned that the company has demonstrated utter lack of commitment and competence in the execution of this project, despite warning letters issued by the ministry. Again, concerned that due to the poor performance of the contractor, the Ministry of Power, Works and Housing terminated the contract on the 21st of January 2019. The House resolves to 1. Urge the Federal Ministry of Power, Works and Housing to re-award the contract to a competent contractor that has the capacity to carry out the project. 2. Also urge the ministry to consider the project as a national priority, 1, because of its importance as an alternative route to the northern part of Nigeria. Thirdly, the House further urged the ministry to make an auxiliary provision for the constant grading of the remaining untapped portion of the road to reduce the suffering of the communities around the area. Fourth, the House urged the ministry to make consistent and sufficient budgetary provisions for the project. 5, the House mandate the Committee on Works and Appropriation to make adequate provisions in the 2019 budget of the Federal Ministry of Works, Power and Housing for the re-award of the Bida Sachi Nupeko Road contract. I so submit.
Honorable Hassan will second first.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, Hassan Saleh, representing the people of Addo, Obadibo, Federal Constituency, rise to second the motion ably moved by Honorable Pategi. I so second.
So that there was...
this is a motion bordering on infrastructure, but by virtue of our rules, it's not supposed to be subjected to debate. So I'll put a caution. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. Yeah.
Keys of the penthouse, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4.
Ninth order of the day is a motion on need to save the Lagos Trade Fair international market from being crippled by the actions of the Federal Ministry of Trade, Industry and Investment, standing in the name of Honorable Ogene Ima Ego. Honorable Ego is now invited to move the motion. Honorable Ogene, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me an opportunity to move this motion. My name is Honorable Ogene Ego. I'm a member. I represent a board of federal constituency in Lagos State. Mr. Speaker, I want to plead to step this motion down because there are some typographical error needs so that they can redo it and bring it back again. Mr. Speaker, I want to step it down.
You are stepping down the motion?
Yes.
Okay.
Because there are some typographical errors.
So, motion stepped down by leave of the House. Consideration of reports. We'll take them first and then we'll move the motion to suspend the rules in order to take the reports. 10th order of the day is consideration report of the ad hoc committee on the recurring boats mishaps at the Buruku crossing point on River Katsina, Ala, Benue State. Honorable members will recall that the report was laid on Thursday, 17 January 2019. Honorable Pali Iriase will now move for its consideration.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I'm Ali Iriase. I represent Onwa Federal Constituency of Edo State. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I hereby move that the House do consider the report of the ad hoc committee on the recurring boat mishaps at the Buruku crossing point on River Katsina, Ala, Benue State, and approve the recommendations therein. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Seconder to the motion. Honorable Speaker with smallest.
Mr. Speaker, my name is Abubakar Yahya Pusada. I represent Kenche Pusada in Ghana constituency. The right to second has moved. I just second, sir.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. 11th order of the day is consideration of a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of Data Protection Commission charged with the responsibility for, among other things, the protection of individual and personal data and regulation of the processing of personal information for related matters. Honorable members will recall that the bill was committed to Committee of the Whole on Tuesday, 22nd January 2018. Honorable Edward Yampajo will move for its consideration.
Mr. Speaker, may I move that the House do consider a bill for an act to provide for establishment of Data Protection Commission charged with the responsibility for, among other things, the protection of personal data and data subjects, rights and regulations on the processing of personal information and for related matters. HB 12. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Seconder to the motion. Seconder to the motion. Honorable Jagaba, Adams Jagaba, can you second the motion? This is very strange. Somebody is being recognized to second the motion is running away from the chambers. Honorable Obaga, please rescue him.
Mr. Speaker, colleagues, my name is Honorable Sylvester Waga, representing Abakaliki Federal Constituency. I stand to second the motion as moved by Honorable colleague I so second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. 12th order of the day is consideration of bill for an act to establish a traffic warden service which shall be responsible for the appointment, promotion, discipline of traffic wardens, issuance of certificate of appointment and discharge, and for related matters. Honourable members will recall that the bill was committed to Committee of the Whole on Wednesday, 21st November 2018. Honourable Pajok is invited to move for the consideration of the bill.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, may I move that the House do consider the bill for an act to establish the traffic warden service which shall be responsible for the appointment, promotion and discipline of traffic wardens, issuance of certificates of appointment and discharge, and for related matters. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Seconder to the motion. Comrade.
Speaker, my honorable colleagues, I am Yusuf Sinu, or Yusuf Kamranu, member representative of Federal Constituency. I stand to second the motion moved by Chairman Rusam.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. 12th order of the day is consideration of bill for an act to establish the Council for the Regulation of Travel and Tour Management Companies of Nigeria, provide for the registration of persons who, by way of business, negotiate for or otherwise act in relation to sailing of travel and tour service on behalf of transport carriers to facilitate carriage by air, rail and road of passengers, and for control, regulation and orderly development of passenger travel distribution in Nigeria for related matters. Honourable members will recall the bill was committed to Committee of the Whole on Wednesday, 14th November 2018. Honourable Edward Gyang Pajok will move for his consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I do move that the House consider a bill for an act to establish the Council for the Regulation of Travel and Tour Management Companies of Nigeria, provide for the registration of persons with, by way of business, negotiate for and otherwise act relating to selling of travel and tour services on behalf of transport carriers to facilitate carriage by air, rail or road of passengers, and for the control, regulation and orderly development of passenger travel distribution in Nigeria and for related matters. HB 525. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder? Seconder. Honorable Chukuka. Durbunde, are you inviting me to invite you to your seat?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Chukuka.
Yes, well. We're looking for motion.
Hear you. We cannot hear you.
Second, Honorable, His Excellency, Honorable Pajok, SAN. Thank you, sir.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. 14th order of the day is consideration of report of the Committee on Commerce on the bill for an act to establish the Chartered Institute of Auctioneers to provide for the control of its membership and to promote the practice of auctioneers in Nigeria. Four related matters. Honourable members will recall the report was laid on Tuesday, 22nd January 2019. Honourable Sylvester Obaga will move for the consideration of the report.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, remain Honorable Sylvester Obaga representing Abakaliki Federal Constituency. I stand to move that the House do consider the report of the Committee on Commerce on a bill for an act to establish Chartered Institute of Auctioneers, provide for the control of the membership and to promote the practice of auctioneers in Nigeria and for matters connected therewith, and approve recommendation therein. As so moved, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder? Seconder. Honorable Emeka Ujam.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I'm Honorable Dr. Emeka Ujam, representing the good people of Nkano East and Nkano West Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion that the poll be done. Sorry, I so second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. 15th order of the day is consideration of two reports of the Committee on Tertiary Education Services. Honorable Aminu Suleiman will move for the consideration of the reports.
Right, Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, I'm from Kano State, and my name is Comrade Aminu Suleiman. I rise, Honorable Speaker, to move that the House do consider the report of the Committee on Tertiary Education and Services on a bill for an act to amend the Federal Polytechnic Act, Cap F17, laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, to establish Federal Polytechnic Panji, Kano State, and to provide opportunities for technical education in furtherance of government economic objective of ensuring an effective, dynamic, and self-reliant economy and related matters, and approve the recommendation there. Can I proceed with the second one, Mr. Speaker? The second one, Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, I move that the House do consider the report of the Committee on Tertiary Education and Services on a bill for an act to establish the National Institute for Educational Planning and Administration to provide, among other things, for its functions and other matters relating to educational planning and administration in Nigeria and for related matters, and to kindly approve the recommendation there. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Support, seconder. Honorable Durbunde.
Honorable Speaker, my dear honorable colleagues, my name is Garba Umar. I am from Kano State. I do second the motion presented by my colleague, Honorable Aminu Suleiman Goro. I so second, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. 16th order of the day is consideration of three reports of the Committee on Public Petitions. Honorable Zoma Ikemabonte will move for the consideration of the reports. Abonte, are you sleeping?
I have another kind of other paper in order. May I, sorry, hold on, about my name. Mr. Speaker, may I move that the report of both item 18 by my other paper, 18, 19, and 20 be considered as so moved.
Seconder, Deputy Minority Whip.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain with the bill presenting the people of Kaloroko Shangom. I raise the second motion as moved by Honorable Labonta. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. Up to 19 now. Chairman, rules and business, please could you move that we suspend the rules to enable us, enable me preside over the committee of the whole.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, may I move that this House suspend its rules and allow Mr. Speaker to preside over the committee of the whole to consider reports from number 10 to number 19. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Seconder. Any seconder? Honorable Durbinde, can you second, please?
Once again, Honorable Speaker, my honorable colleagues, I remain Garba Umar Durbinde, going to submit the Taka constituency. I do second the motion presented by my colleagues. I so second, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. Leader, motion that will resolve into committee of the whole to consider the reports.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to move that the House resolve to the committee of whole to consider the reports. I so move.
Deputy Leader.
Mr. Speaker, sir, respected colleagues, I like to support the motion as moved by the Leader of the House.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. House hereby resolve into committee of whole in order to consider the reports. Honorable colleagues, first report to be taken is that of the ad hoc committee on delegation to Benue State on the recurring boat mishap at the Buruku crossing point on River Katsina Ala, Benue State. I will now invite the chairman of that delegation, our deputy whip, Honorable Pali, Right Honorable Pali Rase, to give us a synopsis of the report.
The Right Honorable Speaker, Honorable colleagues, I'm Pali Iriase. I represent Onwa Federal Conference. Mr. Chairman, this report arose from the assignment given to us by this Honorable House. The House, having noted the incident of both mishaps over the years, 2012, 2013, and even 2018, which claimed several lives, decided that even though there has been a lot of legislative intervention in the past, something more concrete should be done this time. And so the House, in a resolution, empaneled my committee in a resolution that was moved for that purpose.
First one, number 10.
And we were delegated to commiserate with the government and people of Benue State in view of the most recent happening, which claimed a lot of lives, and the families that lost their loved ones. The House, having observed a minute's silence, also asked that should visit the Buruku crossing point along River Katsina for an on-the-spot assessment and to make our report. Mr. Speaker, we visited Benue State and the Buruku, and specifically the Buruku crossing point. Interacted with the locals after paying condolence visits to both the government and the affected people, and bearing the message of the house to them. And we made several observations, and based on our findings. Those findings are to be found on page 5 of this report. Mr. Chairman, the findings include that the Buruku crossing point links a truncated road which serves as a link between Buruku in Benue State and several towns, including Wukari and a host of other states in the eastern flank of the country, including Borno State in the northeastern flank. The finding also shows that a bridge at the Buruku crossing is the only permanent solution to the perennial boat mishaps within and around the crossing point on River Katsina, as it would help reduce the slow traffic caused by ferrying motor vehicles and human beings across the river by boats. We also found that the Federal Ministry of Works had already concluded the design of the bridge since 2009 and put the cost of constructing the bridge at 19 billion. But delay and current economic realities has affected the cost estimates such that the estimates for constructing the bridge now would be in the region of 40 billion. The people of Buruku and all the chiefdoms around it, and indeed Benue State, are very good, hospitable, and peace-loving people. Their economy is agrarian. This was amply demonstrated in the warm reception accorded the committee and the high regard expressed by them for the leadership and members of the House of Representatives. As I said earlier, Mr. Speaker, the people are primarily agrarian, and the river serves as a main waterway for evacuation of produce from inner waterways to both rural and urban markets. These heavy traffic engender this problem of mishap that usually takes place because there are collisions now and then between the boats because of poor visibility at night. Mr. Speaker, based on these findings, we have made two main recommendations These recommendations are: 1. To urge the Federal Ministry of Power, Works and Housing to ensure the inclusion of Buruku Bridge project in the federal budget estimates. And 2, mandate the committees on appropriation, finance and works to capture not less than 30% of the total cost of the Buruku Bridge project in the 2019 budget to ensure commencement and availability of funds for the award of the contract. Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the committee, I thank the Honorable Speaker and the House for giving us the opportunity to serve in this capacity. Thank you.
Thank you too on behalf of the House for that very long and lengthy presentation. I hope you are not put under duress by the man who is seated by you. So only 2 recommendations and then we'll take them seriatim. The first recommendation 1, I don't have to. Recommendation 1, Pajo.
Sir, I stand to amend the recommendation which affects my immediate predecessor, who is going to the Senate now, by first of all observing, sir, that if you look at that recommendation 1, it says we are being urged to ensure that, that we are urging the Federal Ministry of Power and Works to ensure that this project is included in the estimates that are already before us. So that may not really flow. Maybe we can amend it by saying we are urging the Federal Ministry of Power, Works and Housing to ensure that the estimates will remain in this year's budget and subsequent budgets, since the next one talks about 30%, because we're not very sure from the report of the chairman of the committee whether they have been included in this year's budget at all. So if they are not, it can be cured by saying it should be in the budget of subsequent years, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable MT Monguno.
My name is Honorable Mohamed Tahir Monguno. I represent Marke Monguno, Ganzai Federal Constituency of Borno State. With all due respect to the Lanat SA, I think the power of appropriation is the exclusive reserve of this august body. Whether it is in the estimate of the 2019 budget of the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing as submitted to the National Assembly. We all know that budget estimates submitted to the National Assembly by the Executive are not sacrosanct. They are subject to amendment or outright dismissal by this House. Therefore, it is within the powers of this House, since the budget is right now before the House, to include the 30% as required by the recommendation in this year's budget, without necessarily putting it in, without necessarily asking the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing to put it in their estimate, since it is the exclusive reserve of this House as per Section 4 of the 1999 Constitution as amended. Thank you.
So are we taking the amendment? Because we need to take a second. Honorable Pajok has proposed an amendment to recommendation 1. Okay, let's hear you out.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Okay, from Radio Station. You know, what I was saying is that what Pajok has done is very correct. The application is discussed in such that it makes no meaning. With all due respect, the good work that the committee has done, I said with the Federal Minister of Works, Power, Works and Housing to ensure the inclusion of the Kuku Bridge project in the 2019 budget estimate. They are already with us. So let's wait for the amendment that has been captured, and to reflect the reality on the ground. The reality is that we already have the estimate with us. So I see no problem with what he has suggested.
Yeah, I think maybe the report was submitted or late before the presentation of the estimates. So now we are caught in this very dangerous web that we already have. We are considering it today, but the estimates are already with us. So that is why the amendment is necessitated. So any seconder to the amendment, will that not be carrying selfishness too far?
Mr. Speaker, Chairman, my name is Abdrazak Gables. I represent the people of Gengeja that Tongoma of Plenary State. Mr. Chairman, I rise to second the amendment made by Honorable Pajo in Amendment 1. I so amend, Mr. Speaker.
Those in favor of the amendment say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. Amendment carried. Recommendation 1 as amended. Recommendation 2 carried. That brings us to the end of that report. The first bill to be considered is for an act to provide for establishment of that Data Protection Commission charged with responsibility for, among other things, the protection of individual and personal data and regulation of the processing of personal information for related matters. I invite Honorable Pajuk to give the synopsis of the bill. Pardon? I'm not too sure.
I am aware that the Speaker has a bill regarding data protection. I'm not sure if this is your bill, because if it's your bill, sir, I'm not sure you should be presiding over its consideration.
I don't know who sponsored the bill, really. I remember I had a bill here on data protection, but whether it was, I don't know whether others joined in to sponsor the bill.
That way, sir, I would like to move that we suspend our rules, so whether it's your bill or not, that you can go ahead and preside over the matter.
No. Chairman, rules of business, please clarify the position. Otherwise, we'll be caught in the web.
Mr. Speaker, I think it is your bill, but even at that, no rule stops you from chairing, because one, we already suspended our relevant rules to allow you to preside. Two, this bill as of now is the property of the entire House, having passed all those relevant stages. We are now considering as a committee of the whole. It has already passed so many committee stages. So, Mr. Speaker, having suspended our relevant rules, he himself was saying that we should move, suspend, and we have suspended the rules. So, except he says we should set aside the decision that we took to suspend our relevant rules, I think that we are in order to preside over this matter. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable MT.
Mr. Speaker, as a lawyer, there is the elementary principle of law. Nemo judice in casa sua. You cannot be a judge in your own cause. Nemo judice. So it's very elementary, Mr. Speaker. If you are the sponsor of this bill, you cannot preside over. So we should step it down so that the Deputy Speaker, when he's available, can preside over it. That is very elementary principle of law.
We listen to the leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm sorry I brought this up, but again, like Honorable M. Mongono said, it's basic. You cannot be a judge in your own cause. That is a natural law. But I believe in this particular case and under the circumstances of the importance of this bill, because this bill is very, very important. We're not sure when the DS will be around. I think we can actually waive that rule and by consensus allow you to preside, or suspend our rules and allow MT Mongono to come and preside.
Honorable MT.
Still, in reply to what the leader said, Mr. Speaker, it is also elementary that justice should not only be done, but should be seen manifestly to have been done. So if you preside over, even if justice is done, it cannot be seen manifestly to have been done. So I think in the circumstances you said, I urge Mr. Speaker to recluse himself from presiding over because but we will step it down so that the Deputy Speaker, when he's around, can preside over, because justice should not only be done, but should be seen manifestly to have been done.
Are you implying that the Speaker will not do justice?
Honorable Chichere.
Mr. Speaker, my name is Ken Chichere. I represent the Port Harcourt Federal Constituency 1 of River State. Mr. Speaker, I think the Chairman rules is right. I hate to differ from the House leader, but I think he's right to say that at this point in time, this bill, having passed all through the processes, is no more your bill as a sponsor. It belongs to the House. But Mr. Speaker, I would go further without speaking from both sides to say that if what would save us, because none of us can foresee tomorrow, the House leader says the bill is important. So why don't we do the surplusage? The law does not necessarily frown at a surplusage. So we do the surplusage. There is a motion to suspend that bit of it, and then we move on and consider the rules. That is my position. First and foremost, I think I agree with the Chairman, Business and Rules.
Honorable Abonta, we listen to the lawyers first. Let them confuse us.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I've listened attentively to all the arguments being canvassed. I am inclined and highly persuaded to go with the Chairman to do some business. Our leader is the House leader. Our Speaker is the House Speaker. When bills are distilled, no matter who sponsors the bill, as soon as there is a referral to the committee, it ceases to be that of the sponsor or otherwise. This is a bill by the House. It's not by the Speaker. It's not the House bill. The HB reads HB02. It's not reading Dogara's or whatever. As soon as the bill goes, so if we now begin to think of surplusage, we'll be laying a dangerous precedent, which may not work out well. We suspended the rule to allow the consideration by Mr. Speaker. Suspending the rule again to allow the consideration by Honorable Dogara will be dangerous. For example, the bills I sponsor, I do not necessarily be at the floor of the House during the consideration. No, not at all. It could. The bill sent to us by Senate or by whatever, because you're the House leader, is mandatorily done by you in your absence. The deputy goes on. It is the same thing here. So it's not an issue of whatever. No, it's no longer yours. The moment you argue it and there's a referral, you see you become functions official in that matter. Therefore, I want to say that we should proceed without wasting time. Time is fast spent, and I will go on. If we say now that you cannot, if you now say that now you will not preside because you sponsored it, that means opinions that are also yours while presiding cannot be entertained, or you can't even ask questions while you are sitting there. I think that trying to change the rules now and we'll be adding a very dangerous thing. But of course, these things are by principle. We should look at what is the House rule, what is the convention, what is applicable to the House. By convention, it's no longer your bill. It's now House bill for consideration own bills. I therefore think that we should, looking at the importance of the bill as opined and recommended by the House leader, we should go ahead and consider the bill. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, maybe we love these arguments. Leader and then Deputy Minority Leader will close.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Chairman, honorable colleagues. Mr. Chairman, the very reason that Honorable Abonta has just spoken about, laying a bad precedent, is the very reason why we cannot allow this to happen. This is a house. Let us not stand logic on its head and say Mr. Speaker's function is now functus official. To say that this bill is no longer yours is standing logic on its head. Every bill has a name that goes with it. Otherwise, Mr. Speaker, you could even sit there as a speaker during second reading and decide over your own bill, going by this logic. You cannot say that the speaker no longer has discharged his responsibility. This bill is on. So whose bill is it? Who is the sponsor of the bill? Who is the author of the bill? It is not the House that is the author of the bill. It is not the House that is the sponsor of the bill. The bill is sponsored by the Right Honorable Yakubu Dogara, Speaker of the House. And the issue of Nemo that cause none abed, or you cannot be a judge in your own cause. Nemo Judas the Cosa Swa is a natural law not found in any book, any rule book. It is a natural law that cannot be suspended. A rule book, the rule in a rule book can be suspended, and that's what we have done. You cannot suspend a natural law. So I think it's important, Mr. Speaker, what you can do in conformity with both the natural law and our rules, Mr. Speaker, and that is contained in our rules, is, well, in the absence of a deputy speaker and a speaker, it is the reason why we have things like speaker pro tempore in our rules, where the speaker cannot preside and the deputy speaker is not around to preside. Mr. Speaker, let us pick anybody to preside over this particular one. That will be the good precedent that will be setting in this house. This is a bill that has to do with digital economy, which is the new industrial revolution in this country. And it's important that we get it right. Somebody can even go to court. Somebody mischievous can go to court and say, we did not conform with the rules of natural justice, equity and good conscience, and that it was the speaker, the author of the bill, that presided. Mr. Speaker, for as long as you hold the gavel, for as long as you hold the gavel and you can determine whether a clause passes or not, you have an interest in the bill. So let us not mask this thing by saying functus official. No, there's nothing like that. And that is my submission, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
I think the points are very, very clear. We shouldn't. Deputy Minority Leader, are you ceding the floor to him? Because after you have spoken,
thank you.
Recognize Chinda to close the argument.
It's very, very necessary that we'll come to this. If you look at the other paper, except we are being told that the committees are deceitful, that we're not serious, the other paper, which is part of our documents, cites that bill as number 11. A bill to provide freedom of data, blah, 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 by Edward Ajok, Committee of the whole House. The point I'm trying to make, which I will still insist, for the fact that he authored this bill, the sections we are considering were the product of a committee. What we are considering, a committee sat, committee can alter, delete, amend, recommend, add, what goes to the committee as a bill. The bill is not exactly what Mr. Speaker sponsored. This is the product, this is the result of the committee coming to the House. Except they are telling us that leadership delegates committees. We are here to hear it today. Except they are telling us otherwise. If the committee had worked independently to the best of their judgment and produced saying that the gavel will be influenced when nails have it, then I will have it. And so that's what they're trying to tell us. But there are ways and means to see that what is voted for is what is. You call for division, you call if every time he gavel when we say not carried, he said carried, we sit aside and count it. I'm thinking that we'll be throwing unnecessary spanner into this work if we begin to say expound the rules of natural justice beyond this concept. That is, if you're in a position to preside on a matter that affects others, not when others now, those who are now determining what it is are the members seated here who will take a nay or yes. Therefore, the House, as even told by the Supreme Court, said we have the right to determine our procedure, regulate it, and the rules had guided us to what to do. My worry on this argument now is even with the Mr. President even signed, it's not a futility. They have just brought about 10 now that were not rejected. I will always happy. But be that as it may, let's proceed and consider that. Going to appoint a speaker protector, then I will offer myself as the only person who can pay. But that is not necessary at this point. I think proceed and go ahead. And I pray that the House leader should permit us. After all, he had given his consent, having realized the error before, and then given his consent that we should go on. Why is he objecting again? We should not allow them speaking here. I therefore say that we plead with him that when the time is spent, we should go on.
Honorable Chinda. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Kingsley Chinda. My dear colleagues, I think that yes, the doctrine of nemo judas in cause sua is a general principle, but there is always an exception to every general principle. The fundamental question here is, has the speaker or the sponsor of this bill got any cause in this? Is there any quarrel in it? There's no cause in this particular bill, whether he presides or not. And let me also take us back to our rules. There is no clear provision in the rules that says that you are not qualified to sit over consideration of this bill. Now the closest is where you have pecuniary interest. So I think that the fundamental thing is to find out whether the sponsor of the bill has pecuniary, emphasis on the word, pecuniary interest in this bill. There is no monetary interest in it. Nothing. There is no personal benefit to him. If there is any personal benefit that will accrue to him, then we can object to his sitting over it. But if there is no personal interest at all, I think that it doesn't make sense stretching the principles of law too far. So I support the position of the chairman of Rules and Business that having suspended our rules, which takes care of every other thing in the rules, that the chairman is free to consider this bill. Thank you, sir.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Well, I think we have debated this matter for long.
Constitutional point.
And it's okay. It's okay. Well, I just allowed the debate maybe to serve as a pointer to how our rules will look like in the future. But because serious issues have been raised, and I can say that arguments on both sides can be weighed and put on a balance, and they may be true in some sense, because under the general rules of interpretation, as it is said, every general rule has an exception. But in the case of this principle of national justice, I wasn't thought that there's any exception. But maybe the point being made by Abonta and Chinda and Co to say that at the level where the committees have worked on the bill and recommended to the House, it ceases to be the property of the sponsor of the bill, and it is now the property of the House. Because when these bills are eventually communicated to the President, they bear no names of the author of the bill. At the end of the day, it's a bill passed by the House of Representatives or the Senate. When they come to us, they don't even come with bills from the Senate for concurrence, for instance. They don't even come with the name of the sponsors of the bill. But that is a subject of disputation as well. So if we must err, we have to err on the side of caution. And I would choose not to go forward presiding over this bill. Maybe we need to critically look and evaluate this and come with a position that may serve as the principle that will guide the House henceforward. And if we thoroughly review it and look at it and think that it is actually, at this point, it's actually the property of the House and not that of the sponsor, then in the future it is okay for the Speaker to preside over it. But to be candid, the rules of natural justice have no exceptions, whether implied or otherwise. There are just rules that you cannot amend them. And if you look at the dictum of Cicero, if you read the principle of natural justice, in fact, he even argued that there are laws given by God himself that no man can alter. You cannot alter them by decrees. It was a famous statement by Cicero, one of those very brilliant lawyers of those days. So let's critically, chairman rules in business, evaluate this and see at what point does the bill stop being the property of the sponsor and the House takes over the bill as the bill of the House. And if it is truly the sponsor that carries it all through, then if the Speaker is the sponsor, principles of natural justice will dictate that he doesn't preside over the bill, truly speaking. That's the position. So we have to harmonize the two positions before we can proceed. So having said that, I will recuse myself and allow the Deputy Speaker to come and preside over this so that we can avoid. Pardon? No, certainly he will be back. If he doesn't come back, then we can have a Deputy Speaker pro tempore. Yes. So that's my ruling. So we move to the next item. The second bill to be considered is for an act to establish a traffic warden service which shall be responsible for the appointment, promotion, and discipline of traffic wardens, issuance of certificate of appointment and discharge, and for related matters. And I invite Honorable Pajo to give a synopsis of the bill.
Mr. Chairman, this is not the Speaker's bill. So may I proceed to give a synopsis on the bill in just 1 or 2 paragraphs. Mr. Chairman, this bill is on the establishment of a traffic warden service which shall be responsible for the appointment, promotion, and discipline of traffic wardens, issuance of certificates of appointment and discharge. The functions of the service are as contained in clause 2, which among others include
silence, please.
The enforcement,
please, honorable members, take your seats.
Traffic control regulation and to ensure
order. Honorable Rais, please.
Movement. It will also control vehicles reported to be or which are involved in road accidents, whether in the cities or in urban towns. It will also participate in intra-city road traffic administration, management, and control. It will also formulate policies, including organizing fora and symposia and conferences for the staff of the agency. It will also assist vehicle drivers to tow and rescue broken down vehicles on the roads. It will also survey and investigate traffic-related matters. It may also generate income through the enforcement of daily toll fees on all commercial vehicles and motorcycles, tricycles plying intra-city roads. Mr. Chairman, this service has its own structure, and there is the board, which is the governing council, shall consist of the Minister of Works, who will be the chairman, the 6 Deputy Controllers General of the Warning Service, Assistant Controllers General, and all state controllers of traffic. This is a federal government agency. So it contains other functions or provisions such as funding of the agency, designation of some of the staff of the agency. There are the financial provisions. There is also how they can access funds, whether by borrowing, whether by investing, whether they can accept gifts. These are the standard provisions contained in all laws. So, Mr. Chairman, I commend this bill for the constitution by honorable colleagues.
So, honorable colleagues, we will now consider the bills clause by clause. So we'll take it from clause 1, from page 1, which is on the establishment, composition, etc. of the traffic warden service. Clause 1, carried. Clause 1. Clause 2 has subsection A, 1A, B, C, D, E. Any observations? In fact, to K. Clause 2 carried. Clause 3. That's subsection 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Carried. Clause 3. Carried. Clause 4, functions of the governing board. Carried. Clause 5, removal from office and cessation of membership of the board. Carried. Part 2, Clause 6, command structures, organization, offices, and other ranks of the traffic warden service. Carried. Clause 7, terms and conditions of service. Carried. Clause 8, powers, privileges, and immunities of traffic wardens. I hope we do not establish another SARS. Okay. Clause 8 carried. Clause 9, establishment of administrative and operations department. Carried. Clause 10 carried. 11. Carried. Clause 11. Clause 12. Carried. Clause 13. Carried. Clause 14. Power to accept gifts. Carried. Clause 15, carried. Borrowing and investment power to the board, carried. Clause 16, annual estimates account and audit, carried. Clause 17, carried. Annual report. Part 4, discipline of officers and other ranks of the service. Clause 18, carried. Clause 19, establishment of the Traffic Warden Service Investigating Panel. Carried. Clause 20, codes of conduct for members of the service. Clause 21, offenses and punishment. Clause 22, directives by the minister. 23, secrecy. 24, provision of library facilities. Carried. Clause 25, transfer to the board of certain property, etc. Carried. Clause 26, rules and regulations. Carried. Part 6, Clause 27, retirement, resignation provisions. Carried. 28, remuneration and allowances. Carried. They even have torchlight allowance. Establishment of training colleges. Part 7, Clause 29. Carried. Part 8, miscellaneous provisions, service number of traffic wardens. Clause 30. Carried. Clause 31, savings provisions. Clause 32, consequential amendment. Carried. Interpretation. Clause 33. Carried. Clause 34, citation, long title, short title, explanatory memorandum, no title. So, done with that. Next bill to be considered is an act to establish a Council for Regulation of Travel and Tour Management Companies of Nigeria, provide for the registration of persons who by way of business, negotiate or otherwise act in relation to selling of traveling and tour services on behalf of transport carriers to facilitate carriage by air, rail or road of passengers and for control, regulation, and orderly development of passenger travel distribution in Nigeria. And for related matters, we invite Honorable Pajok to give us the synopsis of the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, may I emphasize that this is not the chairman's bill. This bill has to do with the establishment. It's an establishment bill of the Council to regulate travel and tour management companies in Nigeria. And this can be either by air, by road, or by rail. Mr. Chairman, this is also in conformity with other standard bills. It has at the apex of this organization a council, and the council shall be a body corporate with perpetual succession, capable of suing and also being sued. It has its membership, it also has its functions. Some of the functions include promoting standards of professional competence and practice amongst members of the council, to perform market research and surveys in the travel industry, to promote international recognition of the council and represent members at international organizations, to approve training institutions for the council, and the composition of the council is provided for in the bill. May I also add that the bill provides for the appointment of an executive secretary. And here, I think that I commend this bill, which is different from some other standard bills. For instance, the National Health Insurance Bill, where there was a controversy on the mode and powers of appointment of executive secretary, where they say the executive board of the National Health Insurance scheme does not have the power to remove executive secretary except Mr. President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. But in this bill, the executive secretary provided for in clause 12 will be appointed by the council and also removed on the recommendation of the National President of the Council. Here, the National President is not the President of Nigeria, but the President of the Council itself. I think it is healthy that other provisions like funding, the structure of the Council, and the interpretation clause. Mr. Chairman, I commend this bill for the House's constitution.
You had the synopsis of the bill, and as usual, we'll move on to consider the bill clause by clause. We start with the first clause, which is on page 1 of the report, and it's the establishment of the council. So clause 1 carried, clause 2, the council carried, clause 3 carried, clause 4 carried, clause 5 carried, clause 6 carried, clause 7 removal of a board member carried, clause 8 powers of the board carried, clause 9 duties of the board carried, clause 10 the executive council, clause what? Namdas. Clause 10, okay, Honorable Nandam. Namdas.
Yes, so I'm talking about the tenure. That the tenure is 2 years and is subject to the contest. But the last paragraph said, but the person may seek election to the same office after 2 years have elapsed from the end of the second term. And the clarification on this is like after the person has served the 2 terms, he can still come again and seek the same office.
Chairman, rules of business, any explanation to clear the air?
Mr. Chairman, he is right. So I prefer that he proposes an amendment because there are even some spelling mistakes there, because the intentment of that clause is that it's a renewable tenure. Those two terms are no more. So I think that it should be couched in that. Otherwise, if we leave the last listen to say, even after 2 terms, you can still seek election, that would be a contradiction. So I think you can propose an amendment so that we capture the intent of the law.
Who is proposing the amendment? Because obviously I don't know whether they truly intend to circumscribe the tenure here. Because you say, oh, shall be, which is mandatory, or using a very positive language of shall be for a term of 2 years, subject to an election for a second term of 2 years. And you now say, no, after those years you can now present yourself for the election. I don't know. Okay, please.
May I propose, Mr. Chairman, that the first part of this clause be taken, that is to say, the tenure of each member of the Executive Council shall be for a term of 2 years, subject to election for a second term of 2 years only. That will be enough. No, that proviso will not do violence to the clause.
Honorable Namdas, please, second.
Honorable Speaker, Chairman, I move to second the amendment proposed by the Chairman Rules. I saw the second.
Those in favor of the amendment say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. So, clause 10 as amended carried. 11 carried. 12, the Executive Secretary carried. 13 carried. 14, 15, 16, 17, practicing as travel agent carried. Applying for a practicing certificate. Clause 18 carried. Clause 19, issuance of practicing certificate. Clause 20, issue of annual license. Clause 21, practicing certificate annual licenses. Clause 22, carried. Professional misconduct. Clause 23, disciplinary committee, carried. Clause 24, inquiry by the disciplinary committee, carried. Clause 25, recommendations after inquiry, carried. Clause 26, appeals, carried. Clause 27, temporary registration of persons not citizens of Nigeria, carried. 28, offenses, carried. 29, supplementary provisions, carried. 30, control of council by minister, carried. 31, carried. 32, carried. 33, citation, carried. First schedule. Second schedule. Explanatory memorandum. Long title. So, move to the next, which is the fourth bill to be considered, is for an act to establish a chartered institute of auctioneers to provide for the control of its membership and to promote the practice of auctioneers in Nigeria and for matters connected therewith. I will now invite Honorable Sylvester Obaga to give the synopsis of the bill. Why do you want to charter an institute that only rings the bell?
Mr. Chairman, remain Honorable Sylvester Obaga. The practice of auctioneering, auctioneers in Nigeria had no controlling body before this bill. And all the processes that is part of this bill is followed till public hearing. We are major stakeholders in this auctioning is we are part of, and the report was laid on 22nd of January 2019. The main benefits of this is to provide regulations and control of the standard and skill required of the practice of auctioneers. There's disciplinary provisions, procedure for legal issues, and as well what happens when there is any mismanagement of procedures. So in going through this legal framework for the operation of the auctioneers, every step was taken and all the clauses were considered by the committee, hence this report. And I urge our colleagues to carry the report as submitted. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
So we had the synopsis, and as usual, we proceed to consider the report clause by clause. Page 1 of 39, clause 1, carried. Clause 2, carried. Clause 3, carried. Clause 4, carried. Election of principal officers of the institute, carried. Clause 5, establishment and composition of the governing council. Carried. Clause 6, appointment of board of fellows. Carried. Clause 7, Financial provision, establishment of the fund and expenditure. Carried. Clause 8, power to borrow. Carried. Clause 9, annual estimates account and audit. Carried. Clause 10, appointment and duties of the registrar. Carried. Clause 11, carried. Clause 12, carried. Clause 13, carried. Approval of qualification. Carried. Clause 14, carried. Clause 15, professional discipline. Carried. Clause 16, penalties for unprofessional conduct. Carried. Clause 17, Part 4, miscellaneous and supplementary provision. Carried. Clause 18, carried. Clause 19, offenses. Carried. Clause 20, regulation rules. Clause 21, dissolution of the Institute of Cost and Expenditure Accountants of Nigeria. Carried. 22, interpretation. Carried. 23, short title. First schedule. Second schedule. Third schedule. Explanatory memoranda. Long title. No title. The fifth bill to be considered an act to amend the Federal Polytechnics Act, Chapter F17, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004, to establish the Federal Polytechnics Fagge, Kano State, to provide opportunities for technical education, furtherance of government economic objectives of ensuring an effective, dynamic, self-reliant economy for related matters. I invite Honorable Aminu Sule Garo to give the synopsis of
Thank you very much.
The synopsis of the bill.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, my highly respected colleagues. The intention of the bill, Honorable Speaker, is to amend the Federal Polytechnic Act, Cap E8, Act number F17, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, to establish Federal Polytechnic by. The objective, Honorable Speaker, is to provide quality, affordable, and easy access to tertiary education to the people of Fagge local government, neighboring local government, state, and the country at large. It will also provide an opportunity, Speaker, to the people of the area who are not only enterprising, but are endowed with technical know-how, so as to improve their technical talent in different fields of studies and human endeavor. Honorable colleague Speaker, it is also intended to fulfill the daily educational desires of the school leavers in tandem with the yearning and aspiration of tertiary education. Honorable Speaker, sir, honorable colleagues, public hearing involving all stakeholders within and outside the education sector was conducted, which include academic and non-academic institutions, and the bill received a very favorable support without any dissenting views. It is in this regard, Honorable Speaker, sir, and honorable colleagues, that I respectively apply to this honorable House to approve the recommendation, which is a one-item recommendation that is deleting or amending the Principal Act to provide for the establishment of the Federal Polytechnic.
I respectively submit, Honorable Speakers.
So, thank you for giving us a brief background. And like others too, we will start our consideration from page 2 of the report. Commencement, then we'll talk about the amendment of the principle. Clause 1. Yeah. 2. Citation is 4. Where is the schedule? Yeah, should have been last citation.
Come on, Sons.
It's 5. This is the short sight. What of this? What of this? If you say 1 to 4, it means you're not approving these ones. The 1 4. Yes. This one is the long title. Okay, we are having issues with the numbering, really, with the report. So, but we will take, first of all, from the commencement. Commencement first, enacted by the National Assembly of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We take that, but it's not a clause. Then we move to clause 1 in the report. Clause 2 is supposed to be the schedule and it should be last. So maybe we'll take the citation as clause 2, which by the report is 4. Carried. Then we will now move to the amendment, the first schedule. We've carried that one. That's first. Amendment to the first code schedule now become clause 3. Carried. Explanatory memorandum carried. Move to the next item, which is 6 bill to be considered is for an act to establish the National Institute of Educational Planning and Administration to provide, among other things, for its functions and other matters relating to educational planning and administration in Nigeria and for related matters. I invite Honorable Aminu Suleiman to give the synopsis of the report of the bill. Sorry.
God bless you, Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues. This is an establishment bill sponsored by Honorable Wole Oke and accordingly referred to the committee. Honorable colleagues, the bill consists of 28 sections, which include the schedules and explanatory notes. The intention of the bill, among others, is to assist stakeholders and potential resource persons to engage in active learning in all the skills acquisition centers and to engage in educational planning and administration
it is also intended to be a national center of excellence for capacity building in the educational planners and managers in the education sector. This bill too, Mr. Speaker, benefited from a public hearing attended by stakeholders, professionals, and general members of the public. The bill consists of the following clauses which are retained without any amendment, and they are listed as clauses 1, 4, 6, 7, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, up to 27, and paragraph 2 and 3 of the first schedule and the explanatory memorandum. The clauses that are retained with amendment are clauses 2, 3, 5, 8, 11, 23, 24, 25, and 28, and paragraphs 1, 4, 5, 6, and 7 of the first schedule. Clauses that are retained with amendment and insertion of new sections, subsections, or paragraphs, and the renumbering of the subsequent numbers and clauses are 2, 3, 16H and I, and 24, as well as paragraph 1, 2 of the first schedule. Recommendation. In view of the unanimous support the bill received at the public hearing by the stakeholders and exhaustive deliberations, the committee hereby recommends that the attached report be adopted as recommended by this Honorable House under the leadership of the Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
For giving us the synopsis of the bill. And as is the custom of the House, will proceed to take them clause by clause. We start with page 1, clause 1. Carried. Clause 2, objectives of the Institute. Carried. 3, establishment and membership of the Governing Council. Carried. Clause 3, subsection 3, it seems to be that there's a repetition there. Chairman and members of the council, other than ex-official members, shall be appointed by the president. Appointed by the president. So this is typo, obviously. Appointed by the president is repeated. Clause 4. Clause 5, cessation of membership, carried. Clause 6, emoluments, allowances, etc., members of the council, carried. Clause 7, functions of the council, carried. Clause 8, the institute shall, carried. Clause 9, carried. 10, carried. 11, carried. Clause 12, carried. Clause 13, pensions, carried. Clause 14, carried. Clause 15, carried. Clause 16, carried. Clause 17, power to borrow, carried. 17, power to accept gift. Clause 18, 18 is power to accept gift. Clause 19, investments. Clause 20, exemption from tax. Exemption from tax, is it okay? No tax expert here. Carried. Clause 21, annual estimates and accounts. Carried. Clause 22, carried. Part 6, miscellaneous provision. Clause 23, legal provisions. Proceedings, sorry, carried. Clause 24, directives by the minister, carried. Clause 25, mandatory training for officers, etc. in the educational sector and at the institute, carried. Clause 26, carried. Clause 27, carried. Clause 28, short title, carried. Schedule, carried. Second schedule, carried. Explanatory memorandum, long title. Next is the second report to be considered. It is a petition by Sali Husabo O against the Nigeria Customs Service and his wrongful dismissal from service in 2005. We invite Honorable Zoma Nkemebonti to give a synopsis of the report. And wow, it's got quite a number of committee findings, only one recommendations. Okay, Chairman of the Business want to propose an amendment. Listen to amendment.
Mr. Chairman, I've just read the findings of these committee, and I find that the recommendation is not really consistent with the findings and conclusions of the committee. Mr. Chairman, firstly, the petitioner himself asked for a reinstatement, and the legal advisor of the Customs Service, when he was invited to appear before the Customs Service, also stated emphatically that the Customs Service were not right in removing the said officer. As a matter of fact, the time had lapsed for them to lapse, because this matter went to the miscellaneous offences, the tribunal and all that, and later on they were discharged. So for no fault of his, we are saying he should be be retired when there is no basis for that. It's not as if he acted in any wrongful manner. I think that it will be in the interest of justice and in line also with the findings of the committee for us to urge that he be reinstated other than to be retired, except if they are saying that he has passed the retirement age, in which case we can agree. But I've not seen anywhere where they say that he has overstayed in the service to warrant the condition that he be retired. So I do propose an amendment that we urge the Customs Service to reinstate the said officer. I so move, Mr. Chairman.
Deputy Leader.
Yes, sir. Even though it's not for argument, but in line with what the chairman said, sir, I think reinstating him will correct the record for him, and it will also serve as a point of reference, rather than to say his entitlement to be paid. election. I'm glad when Lai respond, because in service, how you exit matters in your own future, and it will be a process for them. Thank you, sir.
Abonta, are you saying that he's past the age of retirement, or what?
Apart from passing the age of retirement, if you look at 5.37, that the bishop left the service since 14 years ago, they will consider the totality of what happens to him. And one, in order to wear the stigma of he did something wrong, which he did not do. Two, looking at the time he left. Three, looking at his own age. Four, having satisfied the mandatory requirement for retirement and all whatnot, we looked at what could be ideal. For example,
what is his age?
Sorry?
What is the age?
If I look at the whole file, I'll be able to know these are so numerous from Monday to today. So this is over from the fact I know, from the fact thing is the committee agreed that in view of the findings, the committee recommends that the House urged the Customs Service to convert the petitioner's dismissal to retirement and pay all the bills. They also litigated on this matter and all whatnot up to. So we will try to capture what was done there. The fact that even the Public Complaints Commission, Federal Ministry of Finance and whatever, looked at it to no avail. They looked at it and some also came with this commission and said, rather than put excessive punishments, convert it to retirement. Some of these matters to go to court, they failed from for diligent prosecution. Some are also not purely ordinary, because if you take someone to court, you should also follow the process and they're not abandoning it. So they look at the best interest of the justice in the circumstances to convert the sack to retirement and pay him the due. We couldn't have ordered, say, reinstate and go back. Except you are saying that if one asks for a specific thing, you can't give him something you did better. If you say so, then we have heard. But if you can say no, this is what you can do to ameliorate your suffering. He can no longer be said to have done something that he did not do. If he wants to be the governor of his state today, if this is done, he can contest that. But if you don't do this, he's shut out entirely in every other endeavor in life, because he's been wearing the jacket he did not buy. Thank you.
But Honorable Abonte, you know that sitting as chairman of that committee, the committee is acting in quasi-legal capacity. And the principle that bind the courts must bind you as well. And one of the principles is that you don't invent a remedy for a litigant or a petitioner. If he did not specifically request for that remedy, it appears that the committee cannot suo moto on its own work out a remedy as if it's a Father Christmas. Remedy that has not been asked for, that is what you want to impose. So there is a moral as well as legal issue really there. So I'm tended to go with the suggestion of the chairman, rules and business. If it was not specifically requested for, I don't think the committee acting in quasi-legal capacity can work out a remedy that has not been asked for as if it's a Father Christmas. I don't know if I'm wrong.
Yeah, at this point is, permit me at the next legislative year, that they reproduce the facts so you will know the age. If, for example, at the time of this matter was done, because we said he left 14 years ago, that he's outside the application to work, can we still put him? If he's 70 years old, for example, is he capable of being reinstated? There are a lot of issues to be considered. So, if I will agree, I will type it down, and I can get a file, so we can now look at what was agreed and all what not. Because for us to now say we're about winding up this assembly, so it will be unfair for our own efforts to also be in vain. We'll mistakenly heard this and all what not. I don't know. It's what I think. I will pray that the next legislature be allowed to produce the further and better details to support and guide this house towards making a decision. Thank you.
Allegiance and then empty.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I believe if an officer is dismissed and the committee, after investigation, found out that the process is wrong, the next thing they should do is to reinstate him. Retiring him after he has been dismissed, you are not doing favor to him. Because first, let us agree that yes, he was dismissed wrongly. And if he's dismissed wrongly, he can be reinstated, and later on he decides to either retire or resign as he may wish to. So, but this retiring him after he has been dismissed, like you are also moving with the agency, like you are favoring the agency decision. He has not committed any offense, he should be reinstated, and whatever thing they should do, they follow the process. Thank you.
Honorable M.T. Munguna.
Honorable Chairman, honorable members, my name is Mohamed Tahir Munguno. I represent Martin Munguno Federal Constituency of Borno State. Mr. Chairman, I fully associate with your submissions that the committee is acting in quasi-judicial capacity and therefore is bound by all the rules that are applicable to our ordinary courts, especially the rules of natural justice and what have you. And apart from that, Mr. Speaker, the committee cannot embark upon a voyage of discovery or embark upon exploration for evidence like Mango Fact or Vasco da Gama, because their recommendation is not supported by their findings, and therefore it is verbose and cannot hold water. Therefore, I fully concur with the submissions made by the chairman of the Rules and Business that these findings cannot hold water because it is verbose and is not supported by their findings.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, Chairman. I think maybe the committee did put forward what the intended very well of their findings or their recommendations, because from our little discussion here, they're saying if the man has been found not to commit any crime, he didn't do anything wrong, and after 14 years you find that out, the normal thing is to reinstate him. And then if he has passed the retirement age, you can now recommend reinstatement and then retirement, or they take their own decision then. If he has responded 8 years ago, most likely he would have passed the retirement age. But I think what the intendment should be is to reinstate him first, since he didn't do anything wrong. So that at least that would clear the records, clear his files that he didn't do anything. Because what he didn't just is not there.
I want to refer my learned sake to our recommendation on petitioner's prayers before the evasive hearing in item 2.7.2. Petitioner prayed that the committee should, in the alternative, direct Nigeria Customs Services to convert his dismissal to retirement with payment of all his benefits. It's contained there. That's what he prayed. In 271, petitioner in his prayer said that the customs should recommend to the House to direct the customs service to reinstate him, and he made the alternative prayer. That is contained in there. I don't know why we didn't mistakenly read this lesson. That's what he said. And we looked at it. This matter happened in 1996, 20-something years ago. So how can you bring him in when customs has gone digital, when he was taken away, they were using analog system and all whatnot?
But that shouldn't be the argument. The argument is, why is his first prayer not tenable? Because he prefers the first prayer. It's only in the circumstances where the first prayer is totally impracticable then you go for the alternative. So you can't work on the alternative and discountenance his first option, except there are genuine reasons. Now the only thing is that has he passed the age of retirement? So if that were the case, you can say, okay, he's passed, and then maybe there's a law that you cannot reinstate someone who has passed the age of retirement. And so you have a compelling legal argument, and you can now go to the second option that he gave.
This matter, it happened in
Forget about the length. Is there any legal argument? Those are moral arguments.
And we're saying that I'm sure that considering how thorough we were, that he must have passed the age that he couldn't work. So I implied that if we are given the next legislative,
yeah, so it's better. Okay. So we step down consideration of the report for you to reconcile that position, and then it should be listed for final consideration. So consideration of report, step down by leave of the House. For report to be considered is petition by Pat Zule on behalf of the Integrated Remediation Limited IRL against the management of the Nigerian Agip Oil Company, NOOC, on the alleged breach of contract, deliberate refusal to pay for service rendered, seizure, and other acts of impunity perpetrated by the management of the company. Invite Honorable Zoma Ikema Bonta to give the synopsis of the report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This was a petition by one party against the Nigerian Agip Company. It was a truly canvas noted that watered on the issue of environmental pollution, contracts, and all whatnot. And while we were doing the matter, both reached the terms of settlement. I don't know, we also didn't annex that here, but we have the terms of the annex. Both parties have decided to settle out of the property, having gone to court severally and all whatnot. They approached us that they came with the terms of settlement which we endorsed and demonstrated here, and that says that the respondents agreed to pay to the petitioner $2 million and also to transport the equipment they used within the brass terminal to production office where petitioner would take of sale. I also want to inform the House that they have with their own things contributed to the content of that. The sum when fund had been paid, the equipment had been delivered from brass to Port and they also took it from the equipment. Thank you very much.
So we've had the synopsis of the report. The recommendation the committees contain is clause 6. And I want us to take it there. From there, clause recommendation 6.1. Carry. It appears to be a consensus judgment sort of that they have agreed. Okay. Recommendation 6.2. Carry. Next is the report to be considered as the report on the petition by Sule Ugoandi and Associates Legal Practitioners on behalf of Jukatex Nigeria Limited against the Governor of Central Bank of Nigeria on the alleged unethical charges and unprofessional banking practices by Access Bank PLC. I invite Honorable Zoma Ikema Bonta to give the synopsis of the report.
This also a similar matter where Jukatex company had an issue with their bankers and the joint CBN and the banking matter, claiming SS charges. And may I also say that from the study of all the matters we have done, this issue of SS charges and whatever has been very predominant in bank activities. May I also inform this honorable House out of vision that the Committee had recovered several millions for petitioners from SS charges and they willingly pay. Of course, we thank Central Bank for their comments, they investigate and refer back to us, and Central Bank had always found them wanting of SS charges. In this matter, before we concluded, the two parties also entered an agreement
Like I was saying, in view of the above findings, the committee urged the House to adopt the agreement of Access Bank and Chukates Nigeria Limited, which is this, that the sum of 45 million naira be paid to the management of AMCOM by both parties to be the final settlement of the final settlement. We also annexed the agreement they did. The parties now agreed and came before us and said this is the agreement. I will have no option to agree by what they have agreed. And so that's why we came out with this two recommendations. That is the going out of committee's settlement. But I also inform this House that something should be done about the bank charges and what they do, because all the matter that can be for us, the bank had exceeded actually what CBN had asked them to do. It's worrisome, so more so if you have a very busy account, you get so much extra charges on this, on telephone call, on this and that runs into. I so believe that this House should adopt this as being their own, and then in future look at what we can do to strengthen and make it more transparent in the banking sector. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, we've had the synopsis and the report. The recommendation of the committee is contained in clause 7, which is the last page of the report before the annexures. So, recommendation 7, 1 carried. Recommendation 7, 2. But is this recommendation subject to the payment of the sum of 45 million, or they should even return the documents before the payment is met?
And I remember AMCOM took hold of the assets of Chukatex based on what Access gave to them. But from the total of the matter, Access gave a false paper to them because they were not owing. So they agreed that since AMCOM had purchased, upon payment of AMCOM, which Access agreed to, partly to, they will. These are also findings of CBN that I will took both the loan and so on and gave to CBN. Say, please examine this and so on before you tell us. So from CBN report and their own out of court settlement, out of settlement, we agreed. I think it's also next year where they said on payment.
I mean, the agreement is that both Access and Chukatex should pay AMCON 45 million. You said from both parties. So that is okay.
Yes.
But what we're quarreling with is a situation where AMCON returned the documents to Chukatex before they have paid their own portion of the 45 million. So what would they be holding on to?
I think that this agreement has been consummated, they paid, they returned their properties, but because of the time factor and so on, when we were saying, at the time we were saying, yes, I think both parties have done that. Yes, they paid AMCON in satisfaction of what, and then AMCON had released all the papers. I think this letter was written to us January 2018, almost 1 year ago.
Okay, so clause 7.2 carried. Any more? We're done. Deputy Leader, move the word, John. I said John.
Mr. Chairman,
revert to plenary.
I rise to move that the House do revert to plenary to report progress.
Rules of business.
Mr. Chairman, I second the motion as moved by the Leader of the House.
In favor of the motion, say aye. Those against it, say nay. Ayes have it. House hereby reverts to plenary to report progress. Chairman's report. The committee in the Committee of Whole considered, the House in the Committee of Whole considered the report of the ad hoc committee on the recurring boat mishaps at Buruku Crossing Point on River Katsina Ala, Benue State, and approved recommendations 1 as amended and approved recommendations 2 of the report. House in the Committee of the Whole considered a report on a bill for an act to provide for establishment of Data Protection Commission charged with responsibility for, among other things, the protection of personal data and data subjects' rights, and regulation of the processing of personal information, and for related matters, deferred consideration of the bill. House in the Committee of the Whole considered a report on a bill for an act to enact the traffic warden service, which shall be responsible for the appointment, promotion, discipline of traffic wardens, issuance of certificate of appointment and discharge for related matters, and approved clauses 1 to 34, the explanatory memorandum and the long title of the bill. House in the Committee of the Whole considered a report on a bill for an act to establish the Council for the Regulation of Travel and Tour Management Companies of Nigeria, provide for the registration of persons who, by way of business, negotiate for or otherwise act in relation to selling of travel and tour service on behalf of transport carriers to facilitate carriage by air, rail, or road of passengers, and for the control, regulation, and orderly development of passenger travel distribution in Nigeria, and for related matters, and approved clauses 1 to 9, approved clauses, clause 10 is amended, approved clauses 11 to 33, the schedules, the explanatory memorandum, the long title of the bill. House in the Committee of Supply considered the report of the Committee on Commerce on the bill for an act. Is this a Committee of Supply? The House and the Committee of the Whole considered the report of the Committee on Commerce on the bill for an act to establish the Chartered Institute of Auctioneers, provide for the control of its membership, and to promote the practice of auctioneers in Nigeria for matters connected therewith, and approve clauses 1 to 23, the schedules, explanatory memorandum, and the long title of the bill. House in the Committee of the Whole considered the report of the Committee on Tertiary Education Services, the bill for an act to amend the Federal Polytechnic Act, Chapter F17, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004, to establish the Federal Polytechnic Fagge, Kano State, provide opportunities for technical education in furtherance of government economic objective of ensuring an effective, dynamic, and self-reliant economy for related matters, and approved clauses 1 to 3, the schedule, the explanatory memorandum, and the long title of the bill. House in the Committee of the Whole considered the report of the Committee on Tertiary Education Services, the bill for an act to establish the National Institute for Educational Planning and Administration, provide among other things for its functions and other matters relating to educational planning and administration in Nigeria and for related matters, and approve clauses 1 to 28, the schedules, the explanatory memorandum, the long title of the bill. The House and the Committee of the Whole considered the report of the Committee on Public Petitions and the petition by Salisu Sabo O against the Nigeria Customs Service on its wrongful dismissal from service in 2005 and deferred consideration of the report. House and the Committee of the Whole considered the report of the Committee on Public Petitions on the petition by Sule Ugonati and associates legal practitioners on behalf of Tricatex Nigeria Limited against the Governor of Central Bank of Nigeria on the alleged unethical charges and professional banking practices by Access Bank PLC, and approved recommendations 1 and 2 of the report. House and the Committee of the Whole considered the report of the Committee on Public Petitions on the petition by Mr. Pat Azule, on behalf of Integrated Remediation Limited, IRL, against the management of Nigerian Ajib Oil Company, NAOC, on the alleged breach of contract, deliberate refusal to pay for services rendered, seizure, and other acts of impunity perpetrated by the management of the company. Approved recommendations 1 and 2 of the report. Leader, can you move for the adoption of the report, please?
Speaker, respected colleagues, I ask for the adoption of the report as so moved.
Rules and business.
Mr. Speaker, may I second the motion ably moved by the Leader of the House for the adoption of the report. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. Leader, adjournment.
Honorable Speaker, sir, respected colleagues, I ask to move for the adjournment of the House tomorrow, 10th April 2019. I so move.
Rules of business.
Mr. Speaker, may I second the motion for the adjournment of the House to tomorrow, 10th April by 11 a.m. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. Naysayers can stay here until tomorrow. We'll meet at 11 o'clock. Permission is granted.